Hello and welcome to the Lost World Minute, the minute-by-minute podcast reviewing the 1997 sequel to Jurassic Park, one minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're discussing minute 15 of the Lost World. David, how you been, sir? Easter break, Easter long weekend.
Yeah, I've been good, man. I've been good. Got a new Star Wars book coming today about the costumes and props and stuff. Been looking to buy it for a long time now, and I got a $30 Amazon gift card for Easter that paid for it.
Ah, very nice. And I suppose you are the resident Star Wars fan here. The trailer's come out. What did you think?
It looks really. I think it looks cool. A lot of people are like, "Oh, that wasn't as good as the Force Awakens." I loved it.
Yep, no, it definitely has some good visuals in it.
Yeah.
I reckon it sort of followed the Force Awakens trailer pretty closely myself, but I don't. If fans are waiting to see these trailers just to know if they're going to go and see the movie or not, then I suppose they're not really fans. Whether the trailer comes out or not, you're still going to go see the film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so fanboys. We've had some Jurassic World 2 or Ancient Future stuff released over the last couple of weeks too, starting off with some new sets being built in Hawaii, which is good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was trying to think when these come out. Normally, every time they build a set in Hawaii, it's for something representing a structure either on Sorna or Nublar, which sort of goes along with the fact we've seen Main Street again, so they are returning to Nublar. But there was one thing filmed for Jurassic Park that wasn't set on the islands, and that was the Amber Mine. It was supposed to be the Dominican Republic that we see at the start.
Actually, that one was filmed on Kauai.
Yeah, but it was supposed to represent the Dominican Republic.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, everything else that's been built and filmed there has been set on the actual islands.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's another undressed structure. So, in time, I know Real Tours Hawaii are over there on the scene at the moment, checking all that out.
Actually, I did see some dressed set pics of it where they started plastering up and painting it, and the speculation that it was the Jurassic Park, those tunnels that came when the cars come out of the tunnel there and onto the T-Rex paddock.
Yep.
It kind of looks like that. It kind of looks like that sloping tunnel.
Yeah, I know. The guys over at the outpost were suggesting it sort of looked like a tunnel as well, but you can sort of see. It almost looks like there's little slanted roofs either side of it, like there's some sort of substructure lower down. But that'd be interesting if there is sort of some of that tunnel. We might be returning to the T-Rex paddock area, which would be very exciting. Also, we've had some more pics come out from Europe or the UK with Lockwood Manor, gates and seal that are being built over there. Massive set that they're building on site over there. Yeah. And Lockwood Manor, I think speculation is now we've seen the seal with the big L on it.
Got a seal with a big L on it and ornate kind of lizards. Not sure what kind they are, but they look like lizards surrounding the L.
Yeah. I brought this up with us, I think it was yesterday, that all the detail and all the work going into this logo, it's probably going to be a 5-second thing, just like the that amber statue or whatever it was in the dining room we've been talking about here and on the Jurassic Park Minute, Kyle and Brady. But
I like when the set construction guys go all out and go all overboard with the details, though, because I like they did that with the Worker Village in The Lost World, and a lot of the Main Street in Jurassic World. And it's fun. You rewatch the movie, you catch new details, and it's a lot of fun. It makes rewatching the movie worth it.
Yeah, you just need a Blu-ray and the ability to pause and actually take in that detail.
Yeah.
There was one thing you couldn't do back in the day of VHS, and trying to screen cap as well, take pictures of the screen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and VHS, forget it.
Yeah.
Wreck the tape.
Yep. Alright, is there anything else that's happened this last week or so that you want to bring up?
The submarine.
Oh, submarine scene. I haven't read into that. Take it away.
Apparently there's supposed to be a submarine scene, an action scene around a submarine that in the next Jurassic World movie, and I didn't hear too many details about it, but it's supposed to be an action scene, and it's going to contain a submarine of some sort.
Hmm.
This is according to one of the actors. I forget which one. That's in the next movie.
Okay. Because I've seen speculation. People were thinking that the Mosasaur is going to be attacking the sub.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really any explanation on how that can happen. With her being confined on the island and not really having any way out.
Yeah.
And I don't know about introducing the whole marine reptiles to the open ocean. Nothing says contained to me about that. Like, I can't see a secret lab somewhere having marine reptiles, unless there's something to do with that research lab Sorkin had in the game that they're bringing into it. I doubt it, but
I could kind of see that. Reminds me of those old sci-fi creature features I used to watch as a kid, and in particular, and ironically, this is something that Stan Winston Studios worked on. Peter Benchley's Creature, which is about like this mutated humanoid shark thing attacking these guys in the Bahamas, and it's got that guy from CSI on it, and and it's I mean, it's not a great movie. The creature effects are good, but only because it's Stan Winston that did them. But it's fun if you like creature features.
Mm.
That in like a abandoned ship washed up on the Isla Nublar or something like that, where Wu is the secret lab with all kinds of weird genetic mutations.
No, that'd be very interesting. It reminds me a lot of Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it. We know that Owen was ex-Navy SEALs, so he might still have a contact he can use to wrangle up a sub. That doesn't really happen in real life; it only happens in the movies. But hey, we'll see what happens. If that's all we got, we can get into the 15th minute of The Lost World.
All right.
As the 14th minute of The Lost World ends, John Hammond tries to reassure Malcolm that his girlfriend, Sarah Harding, will be fine and on the island, but she's been studying African predators for years. At 14 minutes, Hammond says to Malcolm she knows what she's doing, and to believe him at the research team, but Malcolm cuts him off, raising a finger. It's not a research expedition anymore, it's a rescue operation. It's leaving right now. At 14 minutes 11 seconds, we get a familiar Jurassic Park fanfare as John Hammond turns and Malcolm leaves Hammond's office. At 14 minutes and 17 seconds, Hammond slowly turns and walks towards his desk, counting off numbers on his hand. At 14 minutes and 25 seconds, he checks the folders in his hand, counting off the 3 members, smiles, and then walks off. At 14 minutes and 31 seconds, we cut to a large warehouse. Eddie Carr telling Malcolm that he can't shave 3 days off his deadline. At 14 minutes and 37 seconds, the 2 men walk past the massive trailers that are being built in the warehouse. Alongside that, 3 Mercedes AAVs are also being worked on, all at various degrees of completion. At 14 minutes and 50 seconds, Malcolm gets frustrated he can't get the satellite phone working and begins tapping it on the bull bar of the RV. At 14 minutes and 55 seconds, the white van begins to reverse into the warehouse, while Eddie and Malcolm continue to squabble over the satellite phone not working. At 15 minutes and 48 seconds, Malcolm asks Eddie if he's coming along. Eddie replies he doesn't really like the field that much. And this ends the 15th minute of The Lost World. So we ended at the 15th minute here with the last of Hammond in his office, trying to reassure Malcolm that Sarah will be fine. She's studied African predators, sleeping downwind and all that sort of stuff, and that she knows what she's doing. It's sort of akin to the novel Sarah Harding, maybe not so much the one we see in the movie. And then we get the line from Malcolm. It's not a research expedition anymore, it's a rescue operation. It's leaving right now.
Right now.
Right now. It takes him a while to get there. For him wanting to go down and rescue her. Like, the obvious one is, why not just jump on a helicopter and go down and get her?
I think he also wanted the research equipment that Hammond provided, just because it was already good expedition equipment. You had you had the 2M classes, the AAV, and then you had the Fleetwood trailers. So they were all expedition ready and quality vehicles. He probably wanted the equipment to use it.
Well, protection.
Yeah.
He could fly down there and just jump off the chopper, but of course that's going to attract unwanted attention. He's got no idea where on the island she is. Eddie's got the tracking equipment that we'll see a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make a little bit of sense. As we jump into the next scene, we do know that he's sped up the operation a bit and they're going earlier than they're supposed to. But, we get the Jurassic Park fanfare building up, with and it sort of trails off with those chimes or something, a triangle that I love. Just a little nice little change, not just a rehash.
It does that a couple times in the course of the movie. I think it does it again when Ludlow mentions Jurassic Park San Diego in the camp, and then again later when Nick Van Owen discovers the operations center in the worker village, and he sees that big mural that's all covered in vines.
Yeah, but I love when that happens because it's a lot more mourning, a lot more slower.
Yeah, it's a nice little callback, as Spielberg said. Makes you want to go back and watch the first movie.
And a lot of people that dislike the film will agree with that. One last thing here before we get off Hammond. He turns around, he walks back into his office, he takes a look at his files under his arm and sort of counts off the 3 members again. Almost like he's replaying the previous scene. Like maybe a little bit of amnesia or something setting in.
No. What he does is he looks at because he counts off his fingers, and he realizes, then he adds a 4th, and he smiles to himself. And what he does is he realizes he got Ian Malcolm to do what he wanted him to do.
Right,
so he got what he wanted, even if it's not exactly the way he wanted to get it. He was being sneaky and clever as he is.
That's great. I've never noticed that before. Cause I'm just thinking, why is he just sitting there and doing that? But no, that makes total sense.
It kind of does like a little fist bump with his or like a little ka-ching kind of movement with his arm there.
Yeah. And that's the last we see of Hammond until the end. And we cut to a very large warehouse somewhere with a lot of vehicles inside being equipped. We got Eddie Carr walking beside Ian Malcolm, telling him he can't shave 3 days off his deadline. He's not fully supplied. He hasn't field tested anything. Even with the 3 days taken off the deadline, this looks like it's being left to the last minute. There's a lot of cars with bonnets still off them. And it's one interesting thing here too, we get the aerial of the vehicles being made, and there's 3 of the Mercedes AAVs being made. But yeah, 3 aren't sent to the island in the end.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why we don't see the 3rd one on the island. It's the bubble top Mercedes, the one that, and in the concept art, and I think this is how it was in the movie too. I can't remember though. They had a 3rd chair that was kind of raised up in the trunk area there, and you could swivel around and look at animals from the safety of the car. But you could look up, you could look out, you could see all like a 360 view in like a half hemisphere view. And I'm not really sure why they cut it out. Maybe they just couldn't fit it on the barge. Maybe it was just there and they couldn't finish it in time.
Yeah, I think it was codenamed Observatory.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It wouldn't. Looking at the overhead when we get to the barge, I don't think it would have fitted on there at all. But I think you might have mentioned it off podcast that everyone being 4 members of the team, there's 4 vehicles to go to the island, and personally, that doesn't seem very low impact.
No.
Like you're going to go there, okay, everyone's got to have a car or a vehicle. Even though each one carries 4 or 5 people on their own, yes, it adds more to action scenes later on where you got more stuff to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
But we know there's production photos and promotional photos out there of that third Mercedes getting around, and it's now sitting in the
Yeah.
Mercedes. It's now sitting in the Mercedes museum over in
Mm-hmm.
Germany, where I'm pretty sure it's been since the marketing ended, and it went over there in '98. So
I always
it's
find it interesting in the Mercedes museum. There's some shots of it with the bubble top, but in a lot of the promotional shots, you actually see they attached a tire on top of it.
yeah,
So,
yeah, which both sort of look cool the way that the moulding has it up there,
hmm
um, but I suppose at least it's being looked after over there a lot better than the ones that are sitting out the back of Universal Studios, the ride, and that over there. And we also get the start of Malcolm asking why the satellite phone doesn't work, and
hmm
sort of laying the groundwork for later on why there isn't a simple rescue.
hmm
Because
Now, this was something I never exactly liked that they did with Ian Malcolm's character, because the the being bad at technology was always Grant's shtick, and I don't like that they did that with Ian Malcolm because he's a mathematician. He's good at computers. So I don't know why they would make it look like he's not good at with computers.
yeah, but I've seen it more as in
this case.
yeah, but I've seen it more as Eddie's equipment just wasn't working properly. Because he's like, as we get in a minute, Eddie's saying that you got to baby it a little bit, and you got to love it, and Malcolm's saying you love it when it works, but
It'll work when you love it.
yeah, and it's a callback to the '90s. The satellite phone's the size of a suitcase,
Oh yeah, really.
and
Before the car phones, which was like the size of a suitcase.
yeah, yep. And to try and get it working, he gives a little tap on the bull bar of the RV, which is great. When in doubt,
At the time, they did used to work.
yeah, when in doubt, just give it a tap. But we've also got our introduction here to Eddie Carr, Richard Schiff. I hadn't seen or heard anything from him before this film, and sort of I know he's in, I think it was West Wing and some other stuff like that post.
Yeah, I used to watch him in West Wing when I was a kid.
Yeah, the only thing I've really seen him in is I remember him from Deep Impact as Frodo's dad, and in Man of Steel as well. But
He's also in the '90s disaster movie Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones.
Is he?
Yeah,
Nice.
kind of one of those B-level disaster movies that are kind of just fun to make fun of.
That's the '90s where we had the two disaster movies going up against each other for every weekend. We had Volcano and Dante's Peak, and then Deep Impact and Armageddon as well.
Uh-huh.
But that was great, and it was good also that he returned for the the Jurassic World Lego game to voice the Eddie Carr character in that.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't play that game.
You haven't played it yet?
No, I mean I played it, but I haven't gotten all the way through it.
No, I brought it just so I could explore the worker village.
Now, the interesting thing about that is I can tell that they really did their homework on that worker village.
Hmm.
And it's like when I first saw screenshots of it, I'm like, yes, all that hard work I did paid off. The Lego Jurassic World game got it so correct.
Yeah, even like Main Street and a lot of the other locations. Like, yes, there's added stuff for gameplay, but the base models and the layout is pretty good. And
Yeah, they really did their homework for that game. Not so much on the maps, because they used the on Isla Sorna. They used actually Jurassic Park Legacy's old map that they created for that game for their encyclopedia before they realized it was a prop map and it was based on an older script and they redid it. But you can tell that they used Jurassic Park Legacy's old map because all the locations that they have there are the same as on the Legacy map.
And knowing what we know about Universal, the original stuff probably doesn't exist, and they had to go out and try and source information from online, and that's probably how that come to happen.
But it does exist. For example, the prop map exists. That they had the old prop map, but I believe it's in a private collector's hands. I'm not sure who that private collector is, but I have seen photos of it surface, like brand new photos of it.
Well, and it did
Surface.
it did appear in movies post Lost World too. So
Oh yeah, that's true. The Expendables, and there was a map that you get a quick glance of in the first movie, and it's Isla Sorna.
yeah,
I kid you not.
yeah. Oh yeah, I noticed that watching the film straight away without even going online to think what the hell's going on here. Just yeah, with Stallone sitting there looking at the map of Sauna, I'm going, what the hell is going on here? But there's sort of props reused and other stuff before. Like I've
Yeah.
seen stuff from Jurassic Park, even though it wasn't screen used in other stuff as well. So it happens, and
Mhm.
and it's great. Like Richard Schiff, he has some good comedic timing on this. He's probably one of the funnier characters, which makes his demise a little bit later more depressing.
Yeah.
You often, I suppose, because it's new, you'll hear people always on the poor Zara from Jurassic World thing, but I always say poor Eddie. He didn't deserve it.
And that's also something I didn't like that was in the Nostalgia Critics review of The Lost World was he's like, oh, they make the Pudgy Doughy guy die. Well, the Pudgy Doughy guy died in the book, too. So...
Yeah, yeah, good point. Yeah, just a different death, and that scene would have been good
Yep.
to see on screen as well, but
Uh-huh.
oh well. We can only hope for vicious velociraptors once again in these films.
Mm-hmm.
Also, interesting too, here we got the trailers and the missiles being built. It's interesting, we see they walk past one and someone strikes up a torch, even though it's fully painted and looks like it's ready to go. So it's just interesting to see if it's halfway through production they decide to do a walkthrough, because there is a lot of stuff that's incomplete. Like the back door of the trailer is still laying on a frame, ready to be installed, and we see bonnets of cars open and sort of stuff that could probably be redressed and attached quickly
Mm-hmm.
for later scenes of them driving. But
It was definitely filmed before they did the trailer scenes, though, because if you look at the Eddie Carr AAV after the trailer scene, that thing was wrecked. It was destroyed. I mean, it was absolutely destroyed. So they definitely filmed it before they did the trailer scene, at least.
yeah, yeah. And when we get the white van reversing into the warehouse and our introduction to Nick Van Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Vaughn straight off the set of Swingers. Like the story's pretty much well known how Spielberg seen him in Swingers and wanted him in his next film. Again, offers a good bit of comedic timing as well.
Actually, if you look at Nick Van Owen's van, the license plates are New York license plates. They got a red Statue of Liberty on them.
Are they? Now that was interesting. I was going to bring that up. I tried to rewatch it a couple of times. I haven't got the HD version ripped here to view.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask the location of this warehouse in the
I
book.
don't know the location of the warehouse, but I do know that Eddie is at least a New York City resident.
Yeah, in the novel, it's I think it's Santa Fe in San Francisco, over in the East Coast.
Or someplace like that, yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. If this is New York, it makes even less sense, because it'd mean that I'd either have to get on the barge in New York, go down to the Panama Canal, go across, and then come back up to Sauna, or
Yeah.
they'd have to drive them cross country over to California or even down a bit further south and get on the barge there. I don't think they're driving these things to Costa Rica then barging across.
No. That'd be a hell of a trip.
In the novel, they I don't know how, but they'll load into containers and carry to the island via a Huey helicopter, which that's not happening. I always hated that in the novel. All this weight, and you got a little helicopter carrying them in shipping containers. And, yeah, it just adds to that why, and sort of I don't think it could have been written in. It's sort of a bit ambiguous at the moment. It's just sort of me looking into it for something more. But yeah, it was interesting. I was hoping to see some sort of tag here or something to let us know where this is located filming wise, or in film canon. And
No, I have no idea where the. I would suspect it's somewhere on the West Coast, and Eddie just drove there. Or possibly that's the. I don't think that's a rent-a-car because he has all this stuff in there, and the van looks beat up, and they wouldn't give you a beat-up van in a rent-a-car.
yeah, good point. We don't get anything out of him in this minute. We also get Malcolm, or the minute ends with Malcolm asking Eddie if he's coming along, and Eddie's saying he doesn't like the field that much, but this time he's making an exception.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at the time frame here, Kathy got attacked on sauna 48 hours after she was treated in hospital. Incheon holds their board meeting, and Ludlow takes over from John Hammond. They must have been planning Operation Harvest on sauna for some time before that, just for those vehicles to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
But Hammond tells Malcolm in minute 12 that 2 weeks ago, the British family on a yacht cruise incident happened, so it's really only been 10 days from now to the boardroom scene when Hammond lost his CEO position. So unless he's been planning this a long time as well, and this just sort of escalated and he had to act quick to beat him there. Because you'd
12
think...
days, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but 10 days from the boardroom scene, it'd be 12 days from Kathy's getting hurt, because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Ludlow says 48 hours ago, which would take away 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you'd think if Hammond's trying to do all this after he's been booted out as CEO, wouldn't they pull up on the funds that he could spend? A lot of money going into this expedition.
Yeah, well, Hammond's rich. I'm sure he could afford the best guy.
Yeah, yep. Also, the mobile lab here, we get the introductions of that in the RV. 1996 Southwind Storm on a Bounder chassis, and I always thought it was an actual Bounder model, because back during the day, production photos and that, they always had Bounder written across it with Fleetwood RV. Heavily modified, of course. All the bars, extra stuff, protection across the windows. Interesting, and I didn't realise most of this until the guys over there refurbishing the actual screen-used RV, going through it. 46-inch bogger tyres on it, which is insane. And a Ford 60 big block V8. You know, I would have thought these things would have been a diesel Cummins or something that's a little bit better on fuel and more reliable. But it is essentially a movie prop and not something that's supposed to be driven on the road, which those poor fellas are finding out now with overheating issues and sort of stuff like that. Trail section was just a second RV that they cut in half, cut the front off it, which is interesting. It'll come up a little bit later when during the T-Rex attack, and we see the onboard computer that whether it's a callback or an Easter egg or something, we actually see two trailers just joined together on the screen. It's not cut off at all.
Well, they actually built a number of trailers. I think they built like 3 or 4 of them. They built the main one that could drive on the street. Then they built one on a gimbal that they could turn around. Then they built another one with a extra long accordion connection, so that it could so that one end could be upside down, hanging off the cliff edge, and the other end could be sitting on the set.
We'll get to that later. how that even happens.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, I always wanted. I didn't realize the Fleetwood trailer. I always thought I could take a accordion bus, one of those accordion buses, and just repaint it into a Lost World trailer. That's what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
Yep. I still want to do that now. Yeah, because I know there's the one that, like a complete inside and out one that they drove around, that's the one that still exists now, but as you said, a couple others that mainly for the action scenes. I think the one that's at Universal, that was the one that went to Kauai for the exterior shots, or to Hawaii, because it was just used over there for driving around. Because we know most of the scenes involving the trails were shot there in California. Because I think that one that went over there was gutted out, didn't have much in it, which is why it's sort of sitting rotting in the back of Universal's backlot. And there was another one that come up in the promotional stuff where it wasn't heavily modified like this. It just had the big Lost World logo on the side. I think something has survived that went around touring from place to place advertising the film.
I think those are the ones that the RV restoration guys have. It's that one.
No, this one was just a bus. It was just a. It didn't have the trailer on it at all. It was painted up.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. But there was another one that was also for promotion. There was a full double trailer used for promotion, I remember.
Ah, okay, yep. And we got the Mercedes M-Class, 1997 M-Class. There's a lot of numbers that get thrown around online. The ML320, or some call it the W163. It might be just because there's 3 different ones, so they might all not be the exact same model when coming to it. But as we said before, one of them was codename Observatory. We also had the Laboratory and convertible models. We only get the convertible and Laboratory on Ireland, which it's weird to try and make a car multi-purpose like that. As you said before, with the observation one with the seat in the back and the little bubble in the back, there is concept art of a similar vehicle, but it doesn't really. It's not going to offer you any protection against any of the carnivores on the island, and you might be able to drive amongst the herbivores, but you could also just hang your arm out the window with a camera if you're filming, but. Yeah, and it's interesting. A couple of times over, I've seen an M-Class, like the early M-Class vehicles, sitting down, broken down the side of the road and being abandoned or everything else. And I just want to get my trailer and go and get one so I can modify it. Because you see a lot of the Jeeps and even a few Explorers getting around, but you don't see a lot of the Mercedes.
No.
Maybe more so because it's from the Lost World, not Jurassic Park, but. Yeah, I'd love to do one. Even the last car I brought, I was just going to paint it matte green with some jungle on it and just put the bars over the windows, even though it was a wagon, but just to homage the look. Yeah,
I always wanted to get a green Jeep Wrangler, kind of like the ones in the movies, but green and painted like a flat jungle olive drab.
Yep.
Just turn that around.
Yep. That'd be very cool, but these things cost a lot of money for a specialty vehicle like that. All right, well that's minute 15 done. Is there anything else you want to add, David, before we get out of here?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
All right, guys, let's get the hell out of here.
Contact details are on the website, thelostworldminute.com. You can email feedback to thelostworldminute@gmail.com, Facebook, The Lost World Minute, Twitter @TheLostWorldMinute, and Instagram, The Lost World Minute.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, very easy to remember. David, thank you for joining me for this record.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back. I've been Brad.
I'm Dave.
And we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
It is absolutely imperative that we work with the Costa Rican Department of Biological Preserves to establish a set of rules for the preservation and isolation of that island. These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help. And if we could only step aside and trust in nature, life will find a way.